Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hip Senior Books. I am your host, Marianne Bailey. Today, I am here with Sherrie Dunlevy. She is the author of How Can I Help? Your go-to guide for helping loved ones through life's difficulties. Sherrie, welcome.
Thank you, Marianne. Great to be here.
I am so glad to have you. Sherrie, tell us a little bit about yourself and about your book and why you wrote it.
I am the founder of the Graduating Grief Academy and host of the Graduating Grief podcast. But before then, I used to be a television news anchor and a radio talk show host. And when I was a television news anchor, my husband and I lost our second son. And during that time, we also lost some of our closest friends. And so through the years, I often wondered why that would happen to people, why people that were closest to you, you needed them, and for some reason they weren't there. So trying to figure that question out. And as the years went on, I found out that more and more people had that happen to them too. And it wasn't just through death, it could have been through losing a job or maybe a cancer diagnosis, or their marriage fell apart and they got divorced. And all of a sudden, people that they thought would be there for them just disappeared from their life. And in the quest and the curiosity of trying to figure out why people would do that, I decided that there needs to be some kind of tool out there to help these people that might feel awkward or insecure or very shy about saying or doing the wrong thing, or just not even knowing what to do, or being really afraid about stepping out in love. And so I kept looking for some kind of book, some kind of video, some kind of anything to help people. And this voice kept saying to me, if you want to find what you're looking for, you need to write it. And so that's what I did. And I was hesitant to write it because I thought, I'm just a mom who lost a son. I'm not really an expert in all of this, but I was a reporter. And so I went and I really found so many people that have been through all of these difficulties in life. And I asked them, what did your family and friends do to help you through this? I want to know so I can compile all of these answers and I can put it in a book to help other people that might feel insecure or that might need this kind of help so they can save their relationships with people and
Right.
they and grow their relationships with people.
I think right now that there's so much loss in the world, whether it be the death of people, whether it be loss of jobs, having a resource like yours to be able to go to, and not only your book, but also your podcast and your group, and to be able to talk to others that are suffering from losses as well. Because honestly, a parent should never lose a child, and that grief is insurmountable. And then the next thing is loss of income, loss of friends, loss of other family members. It all is important in people's lives that they have somewhere to go to that helps celebrate them and to be part of. I
Right.
applaud you, even though you thought you weren't an author, that you did this regardless.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and so the feedback that I've been getting on it has just been absolutely incredible, and it really is helpful. One lady told me she keeps it at her bedside because just sometimes it hits you, even though you think what you should be saying or doing, sometimes it scares us too much. Someone we really love is in deep pain and we feel insecure. We can't change it for them, and because we can't change it for them, we can't change that situation for them. Sometimes we feel helpless. But there is something every single one of us can do, and I always say, try it, and we're gonna be bad at it until we're good at it. So we need to keep practicing. So if you need ideas on how to practice on what to do and what to say, this book is a perfect way to give you all these different suggestions and scenarios to help you step out in love.
I love that so much because you're right. People don't know what to say, so they don't say anything. And then the
Right.
person feels more unloved, and it's a bad cycle, right?
Yeah, it is. And grief and loss can make you feel it's an isolated thing, right? Like you're feeling it. No one else can feel what you're feeling. And so you already feel alone in it. And then you can feel isolated as you feel people pulling back. So it can lead you to a really dark place. This is when we need our family and friends the most. This is when we need them the most. And there are some people that just know immediately what to do and saying, go right into action. And then there are others who, are hesitant and reluctantly go and maybe mess it up a little bit. And then there are those that just, no way, I'm not even going near it. I always say it's better to step out in love than step back in fear, even if you do it awkwardly. Awkwardly is better than not. At least that person knows that you're trying. I always tell grievers, you must extend grace for the awkward because none of us are good at this. None of us are good at this, and we're not going to be good at it until we practice it and get better.
Let's talk about who your target market with this book is. Your book target market is not just people that are grieving, but
No.
also people that want to help people that are grieving
Yes.
and people
Yes.
that moving forward want to understand the bigger picture to be able to help friends, family,
Yes.
strangers in the future
Right.
that are in pain as well.
We all know who.
Understand.
Yeah, it's for those people. That's who I wrote it for. And it's for those people and who you are when you don't know what to do or say, or that you've said things wrong that have offended people and you wonder, how could I have said or done this better? That's who the intended audience is. But every time that I speak with audiences, they're always telling me, please don't leave out the grievers because this helped me understand that when so and so said this, it wasn't meant to hurt me. It was just, they just said it in an awkward way, right? Or it helped me understand why these people pulled back because it scared them too much. And it just helped them realize that they weren't alone in this. This happens to everyone. And these are the types of things that none of us want to talk about. No one wants to talk about death. No one wants to talk about dying. No one wants to talk about cancer. No one wants to talk about these things, losing a job. There's so much stigma attached to all of these difficult things that happen in life. And so a lot of times because of that, no one wants to talk about it. We don't. And when we don't, when we go to when we're being called upon, uh, we don't know how to react in
Right.
a way that's helpful.
And the bad thing is if you make a mistake, now you're scared to try again to comfort somebody moving forward because you're like, obviously, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to hurt this person because you never know how each person's going to react. I could have said the same thing to somebody else and they would have been like, yeah, yeah, that's right. You know,
Absolutely. I
so
would not
it's like,
let that hold me back, honestly. I would try to find out, and but if you can't, that's okay. I would never let that stop me. Years and years and years ago, a friend of mine, and his wife lost a child. This was before I was even married, and apparently I said something, and they just said, "We can't be friends with you anymore." And I was devastated, absolutely devastated. And who knew that all these years later that the same thing would happen to me? But I still don't think what I said was wrong or bad, and I have no apologies for that. I just think that it was a place that they were in. My heart was pure, and I have to be good with knowing that my heart was pure and true and trying to be loving.
and that's what makes us all different is we all come from different places, but usually, hopefully it's from a place of goodness.
Yes.
And you cannot control how the other person hears it.
You c
And that's not wrong on their end either. They're right to they're
Yeah.
right to
Yeah,
feel
you're
how they
entitled to
feel.
feel any way you want. Your feelings are yours and you're entitled to that. I just say connect to your heart.
Yeah.
If you went out with pure loving intention, that's all you can do. That's all you can do.
Okay. So somebody read your book from front to end. They
Mhm.
have one thought about your book. What do you hope that one thought is that they have?
I can do that. I
That's
can
great.
do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sherry, thank you so much for being with us today. Everybody, the author of How Can I Help? Your go-to guide for helping loved ones through life's difficulties. Sherry, thank you for being with us today.
My pleasure.